and let there be light. So finally, after a long amount of time, I got these to work. And the problem wasn't with me not trying to fix it. It's just I would wire these lights up and they wouldn't work. And I found out the problem was right over here. The person I had paid to come do all this wiring, they didn't wire the fuse box, I'm sorry, breaker panel, breaker box, whatever you want to call it, right. So for a good long while, I could not get the lights to work up in here. You know, it just wasn't done right. And so that comes to the question, do you want to keep paying people for not doing the job they're supposed to be doing? And should we hold that standard to politicians? Absolutely. You know, we pay politicians. Any way you slice it, our taxes go to pay politicians. Okay? And if you ask me personally, I say some operate with the lights on and some operate with the lights off. Okay? So we pay politicians. Now, here's the thing. We should hold them to the same standards that we hire anybody else. If you do your job, you do a good job, and the lights come on, pay them. But for some reason, they don't do their job, and the job they were supposed to do is make the lights come on, you don't pay them, and you fire them. Do you see my point? Howdy, Practical Patriots and Practical Preppers. South Texas A-Post Johnny the Practical Nurse. It is really windy outside today, so I'm going to try to do this from right here in my little prepper homestead here. And I got asked this question multiple times about red flag laws and should we comply. To me, that was two different questions almost, but that can be combined into one. And then somebody hit me up with this, by this statement, Johnny, knowing that you work with the mentally ill sometimes, you know, do you believe in red flag laws being a nurse? Wow, they had to hit me from that direction, didn't they? And I'm always amazed at when people ask you questions or when they do surveys, how they kind of word the survey, for want of a better term, because sometimes I think they try to play upon the softer side of you, for want of a better term. So this is my response. And again, folks, this is going to involve how I feel about red flag laws and should we comply. Here we go. I don't care from whatever angle that you ask me this question, whether it being a patriot, a U.S. Army veteran, a registered nurse, a dad, a grandfather, a prepper, the whole 9 yards. I do not believe in red flag laws. And let me explain. And again, folks, this is just simply where my own thoughts and where I stand is definitely not a reflection upon anyone else, okay? Just me. And also, by the way, if I make a mistake or if I'm not, if I didn't understand something correctly, please, by all means, put it in the question and comments, because I don't think I ever fell asleep during civics class because I had a really good civics teacher. But there may have been something I missed, okay? So here we go. As I understand it, now where I live, y'all, is in Central Texas in the United States of America. We were created to be a nation of laws, okay? And we have this thing in this country called due process. Now, some places have, or have they not, eliminated due process by saying, I feel. Somebody starts off by saying, I feel. That person is, take your pick, fill in the blank, sad, a threat to themselves, to others, blah, 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 blah. And that gives another entity, another organization, complete permission to, but not limited, depending on, again, where you live, to either at dark 30 in the morning or whatever time, either knock on your door with a warrant, or as some places are saying, I'm in a hot pursuit warrant and I don't need one, to either knock on your door with or without a warrant, announce themselves, or not, no knock warrants, whatever they call those things, kick down your door, okay, depending, again, where you live. Do I think this is constitutional? No. I do not. I do not. And I'm going to jump around here a bit, so hang on, okay? For one thing, folks, the question was addressed as a registered nurse. And let me tell you what, no matter where I stand, registered nurse or whatever, anybody can have a bad day. We as human beings have been blessed with every emotion. It's how we act upon that emotion that makes a difference. We can be happy, we can be sad, we can be angry, okay? We can have great thoughts, we can have bad thoughts, okay? It's how we act. And as responsible adults, we have to be responsible for our actions. That's every one of us, okay? And trust me, I will sit there and tell y'all, folks, I'm not trying to portray myself as a saint, but I ain't no monster either, okay? It's a saying I have, okay? I'm just as human as the next person, and trust me, I understand this. No matter any way you slice it, we're all human. Anybody can have a bad day. So do I think that just because someone feels, okay, or has a suspicion, and as I understand, please correct me if I'm wrong, suspicion or accusation is not justification enough to violate somebody's God-given rights. Somebody want to explain that to me? So no, I'm totally against this law. Any part of me, I'm against this law. I know that some places have already enacted it, and you know what? It has happened. It has resulted in deaths. And trust me, folks, I walk this line that I run into every kind of people every day in my lines, and I have multiple jobs of work, okay? Good, bad, or indifferent. We're all human. I can say this, if every place adopts a law like this, I'm going to really be busy, okay? There will be it's sad, you know, and to think back in history when our founding fathers did this, okay, to know that just because you have these laws and you think you have your protection, no matter how you slice it, it does not guarantee safety. Whew, that's a lot to say, okay? And let me just say this. The question also came down to, Johnny, should we comply, you know, if this happens? And then they asked me about everything from bump stocks to modified triggers, you know, to the whole 9 yards. And I will sit there and say, Johnny, should we comply? That's up to you. Because we all know, if we look back through history in this country, 1774, 1775, 1776, the whole 9 yards, you had a group of people, okay? And call it what you want. I don't think any of us alive were there today, but there are some people that are pretty good historians with information. They will say anywhere from 3% to 20%, okay? And it really doesn't matter the number, does it? What mattered was there was a group of people that said, we have had enough. And I feel like as Americans, we do not have to follow unconstitutional laws. And I think, this is what I honestly believe. Anybody enforcing these laws, for starters, re-educate them, okay? Attempt to re-educate them. And if not, and I'm talking about everybody from law enforcement on the way up to politicians, re-educate them, okay? Re-educate, and by golly, if they refuse, okay, hold on, this is where it gets really good, resist, we'll come back to that word, okay? It's a traitor. It's being a traitor. And to enforce unconstitutional laws on American citizens, wrong. Being a traitor, and that's not going to end up well. All right, and so to my friends, I sit there and say this, and to all of you, if it is in your heart to say, I will not comply, right on, okay, right on. If you want to get up there and say resist, by all means, and that is a shout out to one of my favorite YouTube channels that, you know, they kind of are on and off again, and it's political satire, Arizona Antifa, and it is Zoltan Camacho. I'm sorry, I'm going to burst the bubble here, guys, but it is political satire, and if you don't believe me, look up the one. If you go to their Facebook page, you can also still find their videos there. It's called Arizona Antifa Annual Meeting. And if you see that one, you will get it is satire. Okay? Good job, guys. That's what I'm going to tell y'all. Good job, guys. Okay? Shout out to them. But I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. If it comes down to the fact that, you know, they've signed off this law to ban bump stocks, I'm going to say, whoa up, okay? Because there's one organization, and Lord knows if I ever get a few extra bucks, I'm joining them, Gun Owners of America. If I ever get a few extra bucks, I'm going to join that group because they have already levied lawsuits. Now, let's get into that, okay? I talked about if people don't do their jobs. That goes for politicians too, okay? We elected them. Basically, we hired them by casting our ballot. And first of all, go vote, people. Go vote, please. I know a lot of people say, Johnny, my vote doesn't count. Actually, it really does, okay? Trump wouldn't be in office if we would believe the mainstream media and we didn't go out and vote, would we? Now, you can have your feelings one way or another, but that's just how I look at it. If you believe mainstream media, Hillary got it by a landslide. Okay, the murderer of our people in Benghazi. I'm not going to sugarcoat it any way, and you cannot expect me to sugarcoat it, okay? I call it like I see it, my opinion, okay? Those brave people, all right? Anyway, let me get back to this, folks. Whether or not you should comply comes from within your own heart, okay? Whether you resist should come back within your own heart. Those people in 1774, 1775, 1776, what did they do? They said we had enough, all right? That said, folks, I will never tell you what to do. I'm telling you my take on this and tell you to follow your own heart, okay? Do I believe in red flag laws? I do not. I do not, and I am totally against it because I know as a human being, any way you slice it, anybody can have a bad day. What we need to be is supportive of people like that. Okay? Your friend has a bad day, talk to them. Reach out to them. And trust me, I'm just as guilty as not doing it sometimes to the people I'm the closest to. Okay? But always, I'm going to ask you to do that. Reach out to your friends that are having a bad day and prevent, for crying out loud, first of all, go to the ballot box. These politicians that are not following their job, not doing their job of protecting the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, okay? Take it to the ballot box, and if that doesn't do it, let's take them to court. Let's file lawsuits. Good on you, Gun Owners of America. Trust me, when I get a few extra bucks, I'm joining you. Sadly, and I hope it never comes to this, but I want people to be aware. If you get by what I mean by aware. Just like in 1775, 76, whatever, it went to the battlefield. Okay? I hope it never comes to that. But like a lot of things, folks, that we hope for, a lot of times things do. So all I can say to that, folks, is those three steps. Okay, ballot box, join organizations, take it to court. Okay, join, Gun Owners of America, whatnot, and then heaven forbid, just be prepared for what may happen in every measure that you can. Not everybody has the same talent. I like to watch that movie 300 because every one of those. From Leonidas on down. They all had a purpose, did they not? And you may have to decide when you watch that movie, which one are you? Are you the leader? Are you one with the voice? Are you the one that helps everybody? And hopefully, nobody gets up there and says, I'm here. Oh, things are getting bad. I'm out. That comes from within. Okay? 300 against the Persian army. Are we right now any different? So please, folks, with your heart and with your conscience, join together. Do what you feel is right. I can honestly say that if they actually enact these laws in every state, that I'm going to be a very busy person. Okay? People like me, first responders, medical people, the whole 9 yards. And things are not going to end up well. Listen very carefully to what I have to say because this is also what I truly believe. If for any reason the United States falls or we go into chaos, the whole world goes into chaos. Why is that? Well, the almighty American dollar, all right? We provide so much stability financially in this world and militarily in this world that there's some question of whether or not that we should be doing that anymore. And that may be for another video. But we do not want the United States to fall. Most of us civilized human beings don't. We do have enemies abroad and within, and even with our own politicians who are trying to destroy the very fabric and essence of what it means to be an American. And trust me, when you get right down to it legally, I am a foreign immigrant, even though I have blood here on this soil. Questions, comments, folks, leave them below. If there's anything I can do to help, if you ever need to reach out to me, donnermusic@yahoo.com. Okay? I'll stand with you, brother and sister, any day. I'll stand right beside you. We will see this through. Until then, Johnny Practical Nurse, out here.